welcome to Build for Health, the show that redefines strength because muscle isn't just for looks. I'm Pete Wright here with Coach Srdjan, and today we're talking about the incident. Srdjan, you have one job. You have one job, and that job is to teach people how not to get hurt while getting strong. So, naturally, you threw yourself on the ground and broke your arm. Please set us up. I want you to take me there. I want to feel it. Tell me about the experience that landed you in the position that you're in right now.
I thought it would be a good idea to go for a bike ride.
Yeah.
So,
there's your first mistake.
I know. It was a nice day. I thought it was going to be great. I'm going to do something fun, go on a bike ride. I mean, I've ridden bike before. Like nothing happened. It was fine.
You know how to ride a bike.
This is not what I was planning on when I went on the bike ride. I went by myself. I probably went about an hour and a half from the town.
Yeah.
By myself, found a nice trail, and halfway through, I mean, I was riding my bike. Everything was fine, and then I just saw something in the corner of my eyes. I thought there was something coming at me, and I kind of lost balance. I swerved, and I kind of went off the path and got on the gravel, and I was going a little bit fast. So I ended up trying to get back on the road. I ended up just flipping over and just falling awkwardly.
Okay.
And breaking my hand.
Okay. When did you know it wasn't a shake it off kind of injury? And be honest. Did you try to shake it off?
Well, I tried to get up, but I fell down. I'm like, this was embarrassing. I'm like, okay, get back on the bike and let's go. So I tried to get up, and as I tried to use my hand to kind of lean on it, I fall again, and I'm like, what's going on? And I look at my hand, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. So it wasn't like the bone was sticking out or anything like that. It just, you can tell it was off. So I thought it was like maybe dislocated first. So I grabbed my hand, and I was like moving it. And I was like trying to put it back in place. And then as I'm doing it, I hear all the like cracking and all that stuff. I'm like, well, that's not dislocated.
Man. Oh, God.
I'm like, and I kept trying. I'm like, maybe it is. Maybe it just, cracks back. And I'm like, it's going to be fine. And I keep trying to adjust back and forth. I was moving it a lot. And then I'm like, you know what? This is broken. It's not dislocated. I'm like, I broke my radius. I'm like, this is not good.
Okay, so you're talking about like moving it around when you're just not doing anything with it at that point. What's your pain scale from like, I stubbed my toe to I'm calling the paramedics?
I didn't really feel that much pain, really, because all that adrenaline, all that blood flow, and how warm it was when it just happened. Like you don't really feel the pain.
Yeah,
you just see it, and I'm trying to adjust, and then I realize what's going on. Now I'm like, all right, I need to stop messing around. This is not working. This is like broken. I need to go to the ER.
Yeah.
So I immediately stopped because I didn't want to make things worse. And ended up going to the ER, finding out that it was what they call oblique fracture. So it was a clean break.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Saturday night. So they couldn't do the surgery right away. So they said that I had to wait till a Monday and call the doctor, schedule an appointment, and, probably going to schedule the surgery. So for 2 days, I was sitting at home with the broken arm. They just put a splint, tried to adjust as much as they could. That was pretty painful.
Okay, so that's when things start to hurt, like when it's...
Yes.
There's swelling,
Once I got
imagine.
to the ER.
Okay. Once you got to the ER, it starts to hurt.
That's when it started hurting. When I was in the ER, they were like, can you move this way, that way? I'm like, no, it's not moving anywhere. That's not like at all. I couldn't. And every time, even if they touch a little bit, it was a lot of pain. But I know I'm like, they have to adjust. So I'm like, do whatever you need to do. And they tried. It was like, this is the best we could do. I mean, and then just put a splint on it, try not to move much, a lot of pain meds, and wait till Monday.
Okay. I know much of what we want to talk about today is the journey back, but I do think, that was the injury. Just tell me, so the Monday you go in for surgery, and I'm going to call that you're at the hardware store because they've done some things to you, and now you have stuff in your arm. Tell me what's actually going on in your arm right now.
So, well, the surgery was a Tuesday. Appointment with the doctor was Monday, and the next day they got me in right away Tuesday. So I have a plate to keep the arm secure, right? To keep the bone secure, and I have 8 screws in it. You have to put 8 screws to keep that plate in place, and I didn't really know. I really thought it was only like a few screws, but then once I saw in the X-ray, it was 8 screws and 1 plate on my radius.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he had to put those in. Luckily, I didn't have to have any pins in my wrist because everything shifted when the bone breaks. Everything kind of shifts. Your radius breaks, your ulna goes up. All those bones in your wrist will shift. But they shifted back right away as soon as he fixed it. So luckily, I didn't really need to have any pins in and that would have been a lot worse. So I was kind of lucky at the same time.
You're an evidence-based guy. Did you find you were already being sort of that patient when the surgeon is telling you what he's going to do and what to expect?
Yeah, I was already thinking about the rehab. I'm like, what do I need to do? How do I get myself back on track? Asking him all these questions, trying to figure out how bad it is, how long it's going to take, things like that. He was really good explaining everything. Everything made sense. So before the surgery, he didn't really know if we needed the pins or not. He was like, we'll see how the surgery goes, let you know. And then surgery was about 2 hours. So he said it was good. It was better. Surgery went well. So
okay. So let's dig into the rehab and recovery. So the recovery, walk me through the recovery time you were quoted versus what's going on in your head as you're privately thinking, I think I can do better. What's that gap look like?
Well, they said, and I already knew, for the bone to heal, it takes 6 weeks. Doesn't matter what kind of break. It's 6 weeks for the bone to heal. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can quite speed that up, but there are some ways, maybe. And then you have to strengthen the muscles and everything around it. So it takes about 3 months from the surgery, after the surgery, in order to be able to go back to lifting heavy weights, go back into the gym, stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, 6 weeks for the recovery, the bone to heal, it's fine. But I'm like, 3 months. I'm like, it's a long time. I'm gonna try to cut that into 2 months. So I started thinking about every possible way that I can do that, like every single therapy that I can think of. And I'm like, I'm gonna try to put it all together. And that's what I've been doing.
Okay, so let's walk through what you've been doing specifically. I'm really interested to hear this because I've heard just mixed stories about some of the things that we've been talking about. So walk me through the core sort of tent poles to your journey here.
Yeah, so I started with right away with the red light therapy. I have a red light therapy. It's medical grade. It's really great. And I started doing that right away, about 2 to 3 times a day, every single day.
What is red light therapy for people who've never heard of it or don't know what it is or heard conflicting reports? What is it doing?
Yeah, so it works by penetrating into the tissue and helping to produce more like ATP, which is basically the fuel for your cells. They're used to repair and regenerate everything. It can also support the collagen production, improve circulation to the injury area, reduce the inflammation, and potentially speed up a bone and soft tissue healing.
And you're just sitting you're just putting your arm in front of a light bulb, right? Really. There's a machine that's producing red light at a certain wavelength.
Yes, you bring it pretty close. You try with like 5-6 minutes. So you think of it as enhancing your body's ability to repair itself, at the cellular level, right? So that's what it does, right? And I knew that from before, so I'm like, okay, this will be great. It also helped a little bit because the red light therapy, and you have a blue light therapy, which doesn't really penetrate through the skin. Those are usually used for like things like acne and stuff like that. Like it kills certain bacteria and stuff like that, but it will help with the scar and the healing. So I use both red and blue light, and that was actually helping. Like it actually warm up the area, and I'm able to do then my little exercises and stuff like that. Kind of start going through the physical therapy. So that's been pretty helpful. I started doing right away.
Okay. So red light therapy, we've got that on the books. What else are you doing?
After that, I decided I work with the IV clinic called Alive. So I called the doctor there, and I started going over there once a week, getting the IV. So IV therapy, pretty much she made a mix that was specific for my injury, what I needed. So
nice little cocktail.
That was like, yeah, you need all these vitamins and all that stuff. And we drink all these multivitamins daily and stuff. It's just not enough. I need extra. I need more for this healing, for the repair, right? So pretty much what's in this IV, it's a B complex vitamins, like all the B vitamins. There's vitamin C in it. There's a magnesium in it. There are also a couple amino acids in it. And there's also, she adds another NAD. And we talked about the NAD a little bit before. It's a cell rejuvenation. It improves the communication between the cells very much. So putting all this together, this IV therapy, it's optimizing my internal environment for healing.
Okay. How often are you doing that? You're doing that every other day? Once a week.
Once a week. Yeah, because it's just putting so much of this vitamins and all this stuff. So once a week, it's plenty. You don't need to go like every day. That will be a little too much now. But, it's, I have better circulation, less inflammation. There's more building blocks available. So it's a pretty, I think, powerful tool for your body, So I've been doing that once a week. That's been helping a lot as well.
All right. So IV therapy, red light treatment. What's you've done? Now we're getting into some crazy stuff.
Yeah. And this is why I'm doing my own physical therapy every day. I go see physical therapists once a week. I don't really need to see him that often. I saw him for the first time, and he was like, well, you already know what you're doing and stuff like that. And you've been already be doing these exercises, and this is your first time here. And he thinks right now that I'm 1 week ahead of what normal regular person would be doing. So which is great. That's kind of what I was planning on doing, right? That was the whole purpose of this.
I'm so glad you brought it up, because that's right. Like, we're talking about IV therapy and red light, and not once have we mentioned yet actual movement therapy, actually doing the physical therapy. So you are doing that too. Just, for those who want to write letters, you're doing that too. Now let's talk about the little room.
Little room. So I was lucky, actually. Not a lot of people have access to this, but I have a client who has a hyperbaric chamber. It's a hyperbaric oxygen chamber in his house. So he let me use it. And I go and I try to do that. I've done it twice so far. It is pretty intense.
Yeah. Like, what is it supposed to do?
It works by placing your body in a pressurized environment while you're breathing close to like 60% of oxygen. That's what I've been getting, which dramatically increases like how much oxygen your body can absorb. And it's not just for like red blood cells, but it dissolves directly into your plasma, blood plasma, right? And the difference why not just the red blood cell, but because plasma can reach areas where circulation is limited, especially after an injury like mine. So this like huge amount of oxygen that's available, it helps drive several like healing mechanisms. Like it stimulates the productions of the new blood vessels, and this supports the activity of what's called the osteoblasts, which is the the cells responsible for building new bone. It enhances also the collagen formation, which is essential for repairing connective tissue. It's increasing the supply of all these repair cells that's circulating the injury site. On top of that, it does help with reducing inflammation, limited swelling, improves the efficiency of my immune system. It helps clear damaged tissue and it lowers the infection risks as well. So it does so much. It's crazy.
So tell me, just a little sidebar, because we're talking about all the good stuff that it's apparently doing to you. But what's it like?
Oh my God! So the first time because I've never used it before, and I know athletes use it all the time. Their military uses it all the time. So it's like it's not very available to a lot of people. But first time when I walked in, he was like, "I'm gonna put you on level 1." So it looks like a little submarine. You walk in. And he customized it. It's really nice. Like it has a little carpet in it, a little AC, flat screen TV. It's like a little submarine. You sit in this chair. It's like a recliner, and you put your legs up. You turn on the AC. And I was like, oh, this is so nice and comfortable. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, you're pressure maxing
until the door it closes, shuts up, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, this is not cool. Then he was like, level 1, we're gonna drop you down about 40 feet under the water. So that's kind of how much of a pressure you're going to get.
All right.
And it goes for about 9 minutes while it's slowly dropping you down. And that pressure, when it builds up, oh my God, you can't hear anything. Your ears are about to pop out and your head feels like it's going to explode. It's like, oh my God. I'm like, this is intense. And you just got to calm down, breathe, relax, try to relax, not to panic, all that stuff. And after 9 minutes, because you stay in there for a whole hour, right? So when it started, I'm like, when is this going to finish? I'm like, it's been 5 minutes, 6, 7 minutes. I'm like, it's better stop like soon. I'm like, I hope that it's not like this for the whole hour. So after 9 minutes, it stops. And then after that, it's just normal. You just sit there. I was watching a movie and it's like fine. And I was breathing about, it says about 58 to 60% of oxygen. Because right now we breathe about 20% of oxygen, right? So inside, under that pressure, I was breathing about 60. So 3 times more than what we're breathing right now. So, but it's the combination of both that helps. Like you can't just have one and not have the other, it's so. And the second time when I went, it was like, all right, now you know what to expect. How about we drop you down to 60 feet under the water? I was like, because the first level, it helps. He explained it helps, healing your soft tissue like muscles and ligaments and tendons and stuff like that. It doesn't really get into your bone yet because there's not enough pressure. So it was like 60 feet. Now we're gonna go into a bone healing, right? So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Now that was intense. That was like ×2 on what happened. I almost 20 more feet. I almost tapped out. I thought about turning it off because you can turn it off from inside.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I can do this. And then I started getting a little dizzy and everything kind of started shaking in front of my eyes and I started sweating and I'm like, okay, now I'm just like in the panic mode. I'm like, I need to relax, breathe. And I tried to collect myself and just like relax and not think of it. And it was like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. And it's just like talking to myself at the same time. It was crazy. And after 9 minutes, I'm like, oh, thank God.
And it felt good. And after 9 minutes, it true to form.
After 9 minutes, feels normal, feels nothing. You're just sitting in this little room, and just watching TV. And when it's done, that extra 9 minutes, while it brings you back up, it feels fine. It's normal. It's,
no disorientation.
You can get through it. No, none of that. It's actually helping. Like I'm trying to pop my ears, like, because once I got out, I'm like, I can't hear anything. It's just like, being in an airplane, when you're landing and your ears are like, you're trying to pop them up. So it's the same thing. It's just a lot more, more intense. So when I came out, I just couldn't hear anything. That was really intense. And I don't know if I'm going to do it again, level 2. It's a little too much. I might just stick with level 1 and help with the muscle ligaments and tendons repair, and the bone, I only have 2 more weeks to go till it's normally, healed. Plus I add all this stuff. So hopefully it's even now after 4 weeks, the physical therapist said that it was like, you're fine. You can start doing things. I'm like, I'm already doing things that I probably should be doing after my 6 weeks.
So like, let's get into that, because I think, yeah, that's like, here we are, there's sort of a mental game and working through whose expectations you're actually trying to beat. Like, are you beating the surgeons or the PTs or your own? And how does that sort of get in your head when you're, watching clients lift while you can't? What does that do to you?
It drives me crazy, but it helps me because now I have all these other things that I'm like trying to achieve, and it was like I have like, I'm challenging myself now, and I like having something that I can work towards too. And then I'm like, just trying to get my rehab, to speed up my rehab and do something that no one's done before, maybe, and see if I can, speed it up, if I can impress the doctor and the therapist and all that stuff and be like, wow, this is like, so that's kind of, it helps me, stay occupied with that and not think about like heavy lifting and all that stuff. But then I'm doing another thing that I just started last week. Last week. To preserve my muscle mass and strength, because I don't want to lose it, right? There's a couple things that you can do. And this is actually important for everybody who, if you, fracture your bones in like arm, leg, it doesn't matter what it is, and you can't lift to do anything, but you have the other side that's completely healthy. You should start lifting still with continue lifting with that one side. It helps because it's called the cross education effect, and you guys can Google that and find it. It helps the way it sends the message to your brain and through the nervous system, and the way the brain sends it back, it sends it to both sides, right? So you can preserve a lot of muscle mass and strength by just working with one side, preserve on the other side as well. It's crazy how the body works.
Well, it is crazy, and I, I've heard of cross education, and I've also heard that there are detractors who say it's gym lore, and especially if you're injured, then it can, like, you have to be so careful. And I think you and I have talked about this. Like, there are so many systems that are connected, ropes and pulleys that are connected to your arm, and just one, like, working on with your other arm, how much risk does that put on you for re-injury?
Yeah, because I'm trying not to use my other arm too. I'm mimicking the movement. I'm just not holding the weight. When I'm doing like a mid-back rows, I'm pulling weight with one, but the other one I'm just moving, pretending like I have a weight. And I can still squeeze my back, right? It just, there's not weight on that side. And I'm still squeezing both sides, right? So it sends the message like I'm squeezing both sides, like I'm doing with both arms. Like, so you can mimic the movement and just do what one arm. Of course, the workout's going to have to change. You're going to probably get a really strong core, because you're going to have to use your core
the
entire time,
right?
A lot. So by the end of this, I think I'm going to have a pretty strong core, stronger than I've ever had, because I'm using my core nonstop now, which is great. And so I'm looking like all the benefits, all the things that I'm getting out of it, and I try to think about, the muscle mass that I'm losing, a little bit of in strength and stuff like that. So that's what kind of helps me get through this process, thinking about all the things, good things that I'm doing to my body, some of the benefits. And I started doing this called Body 20. So the Body 20, it's this concept that's built around the electro-muscle-stimulation training. So you wear this like a specialized suit. It's got these little pads on your big, huge, major muscle groups, right? And it sends like a low-level electrical impulses to those muscles. And while you're performing like a simple movements like squatting, lunges, shoulder press, tricep kickbacks or something like that. You do through, and you do it for like 20 minutes. The way it works, you do it for 10 seconds and then you stop 10 seconds and you go again 10 seconds. And while you're working out, it's sending those electrical impulses. So the idea is that these impulses cause your muscle to contract more intense. So there's no heavy weights or anything like that. It's literally you can hold 3 pounds, 5 pounds. That's what I've been holding right now, about 3 pounds, because I can't hold more in my arm. So, and it's recruiting a higher percentage of muscle fibers. Those impulses are helping. So I'm trying to use that to retain as much muscle mass as I possibly can and the strength. And actually it's helping. Like after that, I feel pretty sore all around.
Okay.
I still can't do too much on my biceps and tricep of that arm because the bicep is connected to the radius, to that bone. Even though it's not close to the injury site, I can sometimes, if it's too much contraction, I can feel it kind of shooting down my arm, and it feels kind of weird. And then I can start feeling my, really the site that's injured, that hurt. So it doesn't hurt really, but it's kind of a weird feeling. It feels like it's tightening up and stuff like that. So I'll go down a notch a little bit, but it's helping contracting my muscles, and hopefully that helps too as well. So doing all these things.
So does this, it's been a month, has this changed in any way how you find your training, a 60-year-old recovering from a fall, or tell me honestly, anything you tell clients now that you might have found you used to roll your eyes at?
I mean, I knew all these things and the benefits of every single one of them. And for me, this is just a chance to try to use all of them and see actually what works, what doesn't, what helps me get there faster. So I'm kind of experimenting all these things on myself, so I can help people later and tell them, hey, this is what's going to help. This is what helped me, when it comes to muscles or bones or whatever kind of injury they have. So they, all my clients, they see them every day. I feel like every single day, there's more stuff that I can do stronger. I can rotate my wrist. I can move more. Like literally every single day, I feel like I can do more and more. And I'm going to keep going and keep doing it and see what helps. And I think all these things do help, to some extent, but you have to be consistent with them. That's the thing. It's consistency.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think you just cashed in on the policy that you've been selling all along. Like the reason, to what degree all of the individual treatments you're taking on are contributing to your comeback, I don't know. But to me, the reason you come back faster isn't luck or genetics. It is that there was something to come back to, right? This is muscle as insurance writ large, right? Like you have something to build back to. And I'll tell you what, from my perspective, if you've been waiting for a sign that strength training is worth the effort, watching your strength coach come back from a plated forearm surgery ahead of schedule is probably it. It has been crazy watching you. I have scolded you. I have scolded you a number of times in the gym, but I have no platform on which to stand. This has been a stunning recovery.
Because the doctors and the physical therapists, they told me right away, it was like, because what you do and how long you've been doing in training, you have such great muscle memory. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't need to have pins in my wrist. Like everything shifted back. The muscles just pulled everything back. And it was amazing. They said, you're in a great shape. You're going to recover so much faster, even if you haven't been doing all these things. Just because of your muscle memory and the strength that you have and everything, it's going to speed up so much more. So doing all these things on top of everything, I'm like, it changes everything. So yeah, you got to think of that as well when you go training. It's just, the recovery is going to be amazing.
It's been crazy to watch this, and I'm just really, really impressed. So listen, if we're glad you joined us today, everybody. If you've got questions about the recovery or training or whatever is going on, for Srdjan, in particular, how to make strength work in your life. We want to hear your questions. Head to the show notes and use the link in there to send a question to us. We'll get it answered on an upcoming show. Don't forget to subscribe and share. This is how we grow stronger together. Thank you so much for listening to Build for Health. We'll catch you in the gym next week.